Hi, everyone, and welcome to the series premiere of the Hot Jewish podcast. I am very, very happy that you're here, and I really appreciate you taking the time to support my endeavors and everything that I will continue to put into Hot Jewish energy and Hot Jewish media and so on and so forth. It has been a very, very difficult last month. It is currently August 2nd, 2023, and I am still editing the podcast. God willing, we never know what's going to happen, but for now, it is planned that the series premiere will be Friday, August 18th, a 2 episode premiere, and I am very, very grateful to be able to do this and to be able to share a part of myself with you guys that you don't get to see online. Like I said, this last month has been very, very difficult. My father, he unfortunately passed away July 6th at the beginning of the month, and I was actually in Israel finishing up my birthright trip, and it was on the day that my trip actually officially ended and I had extended. I was planning to stay for 3 weeks, and I got the call that he passed away, and it's been a very, very rough time. I also had to put one of my dogs to sleep. Spot, his health declined very, very quickly. Usually with pets, once things start going downhill, it just doesn't get any better or stabilize. So that was within 2 to 3 weeks of my dad passing, and it happened a week ago actually, and it's just been a very, very, very trying time. I just want to leave it with this because I really, when this happened, when my dad passed, I knew after thinking that this is what I wanted to do and one of the many things I wanted to do for him. And this entire season, this entire series, everything that I will put into this, and I hope to God everything that I do in the future, whenever the opportunity that I can to do it, I would like to dedicate this entire series in my dad's name. His name was Carlos, and his Hebrew name was Chaim ben Avraham. It's for his neshama. It's for his memory. He he really loved me. I know he did. He was such a good parent, and I would really love for everyone to keep him in mind watching this entire and listening to this entire season and for the series in general. It's in his memory. It's for him. It's for my dad Carlos. It's for Chaim ben Avraham. I'm very, very blessed to be able to be doing this and to be able to have all of this be in his memory. So without further ado, here is the series premiere of the Hot Jewish podcast. I really, really hope you enjoy it, and please keep my dad in your thoughts, and may his neshama shine and ascend further and further, and thank you so much. Hello, shalom, salom, and hola. Welcome to the Hot Jewish podcast. I'm Michael, aka Hot Jewish Energy. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Hot Jewish Energy, at Hot Jewish Podcast, at Michael T. Valdes with an S at the end, and at Hot Jewish Short King. I have a podcast now. Hi. Why am I acting shocked? Y'all, that was just me just being a little fake. So, I'm going to be real with everybody. So, today is June 23rd. I just finished filming with my last guest for the entire first season. And this is my first episode of the podcast, so it's very, very weird. I did not film the first episode or my second episode before I had everybody on, but this is the first episode of the podcast, and I've already done pretty much all the episodes, and it's crazy that I look back on this entire season, and you guys are gonna love this. I'm telling you, the guests are next level. I'm really proud of all the guests that I have on this season, and I just can't believe that you guys are finally getting to see this. It's crazy. This has been in the works since the beginning of the year. Like I've been in the works of getting my guests, getting my roster, filming. I mean, this is coming out now in August when you're watching this, and it's just crazy to think that you guys are going to get to see everything, and you're going to get to see your favorite creators on, and influencers, and activists. And first off, I want to say thank you for everything that you guys have done for me up to this point. You've given me a platform, you've given me a voice, and I never thought that I would be able to have a voice. I didn't think anyone else felt the same way that I felt about certain situations. And the fact that almost 8,000 people feel that way at this moment in time, it just, I don't know, I can't understand it. I really can't. It's just, it's crazy. You guys are the reason that I'm doing this, that I put together this entire show, and I'm hoping that you really, really love it. I hope that you learn something from it. I hope that you're able, if we're going to take away anything from this entire season coming up, I hope that you're able to be proud of your Judaism. I hope you're able, no matter who you are, even if you're not Jewish, I hope you're able to be proud of who you are, as long as it's not hurting anyone emotionally, physically. I hope you are able to be proud of who you are and to spread love and kindness. And that's one of the reasons that I created the show. The other reason is I want you guys to get a glimpse into all your favorite people online and who they are and what they do offline, IRL, who they are as people, because we rarely get to see that. We rarely get to see our favorite creators be regular people out and about. We know them as these very, very influential people that we love watching and listening to and looking at their posts every day. And I just hope with this podcast that you guys are able to get a glimpse into how amazing all these people are, and that they're not just doing amazing work, they're also just genuine, great people. And I can say that for fact because every single guest that I've had on has been great. They've been really, really sweet, and they've provided invaluable information, and I am really, really excited for you guys to see these episodes. Okay. I had a really, really tough time deciding what I wanted to talk about on the first episode of this podcast, the Hot Jewish podcast. And initially I was going to just talk about Parade, which is not a new musical, but the revival is new on Broadway. It's starring Ben Platt and Michaela Diamond, directed by Michael Arden. And I was originally going to talk about how that show is just on Broadway at the perfect time. But then I saw Leopoldstadt, which I hope is the way you pronounce it, which is on Broadway as well. I saw that play recently, and it truly made me think as well, with the Tonys that just happened a few weeks ago, that Jews have been thriving on Broadway this past year. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the way that the Jewish community has been able to take all the rise in anti-Semitism and be able to make it into art and put it out there into the world and be able to thrive. Let's start off with Parade. I saw it on my birthday, and I kid you not, it is probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. They got the perfect people to do it. Ben Platt, you guys know I love Ben Platt. I don't think I've shared it a lot online, but I am in love with that man. He is talented. He's a hot Jew. He's also very good looking. Engaged now. Well wishes. But he is just the definition of Jewish excellence in the entertainment industry at this time. And Michaela Diamond, she's just uber talented, and she just seems like such a nice person. She seems like a genuine person. She's very in touch with her Judaism as well as Ben, and I cannot believe that she's younger than me. I'm 23, and she's sounding like that. Like, she's just next level, and they both got nominated for Tonys. His Tony being his second, and hers being her first nomination. His nomination being second nomination, he already won, but hers being her first nomination ever. And when the nominations came out, I was like, I really, really hope that the Jews take it home this year, because we deserve it. We've dealt with such I don't even know the right word to say. I don't want to say pain, but you know what? It has been painful to see what's been happening. It has been. And they put their heart and soul into this show. And this show, if you guys don't know what Parade is a musical. It is by Jewish composer Jason Robert Brown. He also wrote the show's Last 5 Years. He wrote 13. He did, oh my gosh, for my Ariana Grande friends, you know Jason's song? He wrote that song for her, and it's one of her most underrated songs in my opinion. But oh my gosh, I'm blanking on other stuff that he's written. But those are the main three that I read. Oh, Songs for a New World. Songs for a New World. I did that show, and he's one of the most prolific modern day musical theater composers of all time, Jewish. And it's a show about Leo Frank and his unfair execution, his murder by white supremacists. And he was accused of sexually assaulting and murdering a young girl. And to this day, the case has not been solved, but he was wrongfully convicted and wrongfully killed in the South. And the way Ben Platt was able to portray the humanity in this person, he's a human being. We love thinking that, oh, the good guy is always going to be composed, is always going to be very, very quiet and respectful. He showed what a real human being would be reacting to in this situation. He was upset. That of course the character is going to be upset, and he's going to say, why is this happening to me? This is insane. I'm upset. I'm pissed off, and rightfully so. And I love that that Ben was able to portray that with Leo and be able to show that this person is a human being and that he has multiple emotions. And I also loved that between Leo and Lucille is Leo's wife in the show, and Lucille's portrayed by Michaela Diamond. And it's just really realistic how they're able to show that there was some tension in their relationship in the beginning, because she didn't know what to believe. The world was telling her all these nasty, nasty things about her husband, and she was caught in the middle of it, and she was overwhelmed, and she was doubting herself, and she was like, I don't know how to feel about all of this. And the one song that she sings, her most well-known song, You Don't Know This Man, it breaks your heart, because she's talking about how everybody is saying all these really vile things about her husband, about Leo, and she's saying that you don't know him like I do. And then she's just like, this is the man that I know. The man that I know is a kind man. He is a respectful man. One of the lyrics, which is really, really touching, calls his mother every Sunday and pays his bills when it's due. She's just really showing that he's a good man. And unfortunately, it didn't end well. And at the end of the show, I'm not going to give it away, but the last thing that he says before he's executed and murdered, it broke my heart. It really did. And a lot of people felt this way too, that the show, it was so spot on with what's currently happening in the world that it's scary. And it's unintended. It's like right on the nose, like too on the nose. And I could not think of a better time for this show to be on Broadway. It did not get a fair chance when it was on Broadway originally, and it didn't grab as much of an audience as it did now. And if you haven't seen this show, if you're out of state, if you're in state, no matter what, get yourself to this show, because it will make you think, it will make you feel, and I cannot stress enough. And they won the Tony for Best Revival, which was so well deserved. And Michael Arden won Best Director, and I can't remember the other awards they won off the top of my head. By the way, I mentioned this in the next episode, but if you hear that honking, those are my pet geese. And one's named Charlie, one's name is Frankie, and you may hear them throughout the season. So, hi Frankie, love you. I'm right outside their pen. So if you hear that, Those are my pet geese. But they won. I don't know what other Tony Awards they won, but those were the two major ones that they won. I mean, Ben Platt and Michaela, they didn't win their Tonys for their performances, but if I'm going to be honest, it was a very, very tight category this year, and there were so many great performances. And seeing Parade win Best Survival made me feel seen, because I was doubting if they were going to win, because it was a very tight race this year. They had Into the Woods, they had Camelot, they had oh my gosh, I can't remember the rest of the shows, but it was a very tight race, especially with Into the Woods. And the fact that they won showed that no matter what happens, no matter what the world is saying, and no matter how the world is treating Jews, we will survive, we will thrive. And I was pleasantly shocked, and it warmed my heart. It really did. When Leopoldstadt won, I was overjoyed, because they won for Best Play. Leopoldstadt is a play that's on Broadway currently. They're closing beginning of July, so unfortunately, most of you may not be able to see it. By the time this comes out, they're going to be closed anyways, and by the time this comes out, Parade is going to be closed anyways. But it's a play on Broadway that's currently playing, and it is about a family, and it takes you through different moments in this family's life. They're a Jewish family in Vienna and Austria. Yes. And basically shows you how Jews have had to assimilate to the society that they're surrounded by to survive, to be able to thrive. And you get to see the growth of this family, and how the kids go from being kids to adults. And unfortunately, they get stuck in the mix-up of the Holocaust, and a lot of them do perish. And by the end of the show, you see that even whatever members of the family that are left, they still feel broken. Well, of course they would feel broken. And you see that I don't want to give too much away. I think if you can, read the play. The play is still going to be available to read. You can buy it online, I believe. And for Parade, if you don't get to see it, you can listen to the soundtrack, the Broadway cast recording on any streaming platform. You can buy it. And I think that Leopoldstadt, it did the effect of what Parade did. It was so spot on that it was too spot on. One of the other awards that they won, which really, it hit a very, very personal note for me. Brandon Aronowitz, he plays one of the main characters in the play. He won for his performance, and he went up there. Oh my gosh, Frankie, what is going on, dude? Brandon Aronowitz won for his performance, and frankly, I thought that was long overdue. He's been nominated like 3 or 4 times before he won, and I was like, dude, finally, you're getting your Tony. And he went up, and he pretty much dedicated to the award to all queer Jews, and he said that if I can do it, you can do it. And he said that he was privileged enough to be raised in a household where his parents embraced who he was. That really, it meant a lot to hear that, because as a queer Jew myself, sometimes I feel like there's no space for me in the industry that I want to be a part of, which is the entertainment industry. And Brandon just really solidified that for me. Seeing him up there, getting this award in the time that we're in right now, it meant so much. I was proud. I was really, really proud of him. I just hope that in the future, we get to see more moments like this. We get to see the Jewish people succeeding and winning and thriving and standing up for themselves and creating art and being rewarded for that hard work and the phenomenal stories and art and everything. And this year at the Tonys, it was a big win for Jewish people. It was also a big win for the Black community. It was a big win for the LGBTQ plus community as well. The Tonys saw their first openly non-binary actor wins with Alex Newell and Jay Harrison G. It was a big night for minorities. I was so happy to see that, especially the Jewish community was thriving that night. And they're thriving on Broadway right now. And Funny Girl is through the roof thriving. Unfortunately, they're closing, but it just makes me so happy to see that the industry is coming to a place where it needs to be, which is giving true stories for Jewish people. That was a lot. But I thought that this episode was going to take way longer, but I think I really got my point across, and I hope I did. I hope that you guys felt that too. And I'm going to leave it at that because I'm going to let the rest of the season speak for itself, because some of these episodes some of them get very heavy. Some of them are very lighthearted. Also, they're about an hour long, which is about the length of a TV show. So I'm going to leave it here. You're gonna hear from me, so just me at the end of the season, and I'm very excited for you to enjoy the Hot Jewish podcast. Should I even plug myself now? maybe I should. If you don't know already, you can find me at Hot Jewish Energy, Hot Jewish Podcast, Hot Jewish Short King, which you guys are going to hear is a new account throughout the season, but now it's not new. But Hot Jewish Short King, and Michael T. Valdes with an S at the end. Thank you guys for supporting this podcast's first episode. I hope that you continue watching, and I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you love yourself and who you are and what you believe in, as long as it's not hurting anyone. That's my policy. If you're not hurting anyone, do whatever you want. But if you're hurting someone, no. But anyways, I'm really thankful that you guys are here, and I am so excited for you to see the Hot Jewish podcast. Have a great day, night, wherever you are, and enjoy the show.